Hey, what's up everyone? Shamrock here with a boss guide for you. This time I'm showing you how I did Teera and Maruuk on a 24 Tyrannical with Grievous as the affix. This fight, in my opinion, is already super spicy, so to have Grievous on it as well, yeah, it was pretty hard. Also, I had never done this fight on a 24 before. I'd only done it on a 23, but my general strat worked here, and I was actually pretty proud of myself for being able to do this. So I'm going to share with you what I did, and hopefully it can help you guys out when you're doing this fight. So some main things to remember for this fight is like two main things. First, try to keep everybody above 50% health. Like as soon as somebody goes below 50, you need to target them and heal them right away. And second is to be as conservative with your mana as possible, because the nature of this fight with healing surges and chain heals requires a lot of mana. All right, so going into this fight, you'll usually have Lust if you're doing it on Tyrannical, so that will help keep everybody up for the first little bit. We were actually really tight on time here, so we pulled with Trash. In case you're curious, we actually didn't time this key, but I got some good footage, so that was worth it. Anyway, so you'll see I use Nature Swiftness, Primordial Wave very often in order to conserve my mana. Also, you'll see, so for Gale Arrows, my strategy here is to heal everybody up as soon as I see the cast coming out. If you have boss timers, then that will help you as well. And then once everybody's topped up and she's casting the Gale Arrows, go into Spirit Wolf as soon as you possibly can. And if you're talented into the Spirit Wolf talent, you will get 20% DR if you're in there for 4 seconds. Even if you're only in there for a couple of seconds, you'll still get some DR. And on really high keys, that Gale Arrow can definitely one-shot you. So very important, and probably one of my most important tips for this fight is to try and get into Spirit Wolf for each Gale Arrow. That being said, you have to make sure everybody else is topped up because it will kill them as well. So yeah, and you'll see how I did that for the rest of the Gale Arrows. It's also a really long fight, unfortunately, which isn't great because, like I said, it's kind of a scary fight. But you'll see I'm using a mix of healing waves, healing surges, and chain heals here. The reason I'm using healing waves is, like I said, to try and be conservative with my mana, but all right, and I also found a general strategy this week because it's Grievous. Don't wait to heal people, heal them right away, because if you wait and then they, their stacks of Grievous go up or they keep taking damage, it's just going to be harder to heal them up. So somebody got nailed by a tornado there, which is okay, we had a B-res, but always make sure that if you are using 2 groups to stack instead of 1, that you are aware that the tornadoes may shoot right at you. So you'll see I dodged it, he didn't quite. But the important thing is that everybody was able to live from the general tornado damage that first comes out. So something good to do, and I wasn't doing it as much here, is to watch where the Spirit Leap is going and then putting a healing rain down there right away for the damage and for the healing. Like I said, I was trying to be extra conservative with my mana, and I was really trying to focus on spot healing because of the Grievous. So I don't always do it, but in general, it's a good tip to put the healing rain down whenever you see a Spirit Leap going, because you do have a second to kind of chill it there. Also, don't be afraid to use healing cooldowns. If you're ever in a tight spot, you can either save them for the Gale Arrows, or you can use them if you're starting to fall behind on the quick shots. So I've already used Ascendance, and I believe I used Ancestral Guidance at the very beginning, and now I'm using it again here just to keep up with everything. Also, it's once again, for being conservative for your mana, you should be using Ancestral Guidance as much as possible, because, like I said, this is a long fight. You might even get 3 uses out of it. But yeah, you'll see for each Gale Arrow, it's a Spirit Wolf, and then once the tornadoes come out, it's a quick heal everybody up as fast as I possibly can, using Chain Heal, Downpour, and Cloudburst as well. I find running the Shadow Moon Crit Trinket is really great for this fight as well, not only because it boosts your healing and damage, but it also helps with your mana if you're running Resurgence, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I wasn't using Resurgence, so that's kind of a moot point, but if you are, that will greatly help you. I'll show the talents at the end of the fight, or maybe I'll stick them at the beginning of the video. Very important for these little ground things that come out. If you get stuck in a wedge, sort of like I did there, do whatever you can to make sure that you, first of all, don't get hit, and second of all, don't have to cross over the brown circles in the ground, because they will one-shot you. But yeah, as you see, like this whole fight, especially with Grievous, is a game of it's basically like whack-a-mole. Like whoever gets hit, you gotta heal them, get them above 50%. So if they get targeted again, they don't die right away. And she sometimes does target the same person twice in a row, so it's very important. If you're ever doing a Gale Arrow and you're falling behind like I was there, perfect time to use Spirit Link. You absolutely should save Spirit Link for a rough Gale Arrow. All right, and then you'll see I immediately heal everybody up with Cloudburst and Downpour, as well as some chain heals. Another great healing combo here is using Ancestral Guidance with Stormkeeper and using Chain Lightning. Because there's 2 targets, you're going to get the extra healing from that. And it's a great way to heal when you're out of mana, which you'll see actually, I think that happens. I run out of mana towards the end. I get Ancestral Guidance up and I have Stormkeeper, and that actually helps keep the group alive. Also, Spirit Walker's Grace, awesome talent here to use whenever you need to be on the move, whether you're chasing the boss or if you're moving away from these brown circles, or for the knockback as well, or for Gale Arrow, like just to avoid the tornadoes. Spirit Walker's Grace is definitely one of your go-to abilities for this fight, so don't forget about it. Okay, you'll see towards the end of the fight, I'm really like running low on mana, so I basically just start switching to Riptide and Healing Wave and Downpours when it's up, as well as Nature Swiftness, because that is a free cast. But hopefully if you're a little bit more conservative than I was, then that's great. Here you go. Yeah, this is my brilliant Stormkeeper with Ancestral Guidance after the Gale Arrow, and you'll see that pretty much tops the group up, which is amazing because I literally have no mana left. All right, and now I see my Trinket and my Racial coming up, so I feel like I use those to give my little bit of healing that I can do with no mana some extra oomph. Yep, there we go. And then I also have Ascendance up here too, so I use that. Once again, out of mana, you gotta use what you got. Here we go, Ascendance popped. Also, I do suggest if you're running this key on a high Tyrannical and it's your key and you're making the comp, absolutely include a priest. It's bursting this week, so that's kind of a given, but even if it's not bursting, the bosses in Nokhud Offensive are all notorious for being able to one-shot you or just like do a lot of damage really quickly, and having the 10% stamina buff from the priest in addition to the Ancestral Digger buff that you give out is it's an amazing combo for trying to survive through these Tyrannical bosses. So as you see, we're pretty much out of time here. We only have 6 minutes, and you'd need like at least 10 minutes. Well, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 8 to 10 minutes after doing this boss, depending on how much trash you've done. So we do end up finishing it. Actually, I may make a guide for the last boss, Valakar, for this run because it was also pretty tough. But yeah, once again, as always, if you need to, I've put the ability tracker on the top left there if you haven't noticed. So feel free to rewind this. I've already slowed it down, but you can slow it down even further on YouTube if you really want to see exactly the order of what I'm casting and when I use my cooldowns and all that. And if you don't want to listen to me, you can just put your own music on in the background and then just watch away. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was at least somewhat helpful for you. I feel like this is one of the sort of sneaky, tougher bosses. Like, nobody really mentions that it's tough, but every time I do it, I'm usually sweating and I'm like out of mana and I'm like nervous that people are going to die basically the whole time. So, but once again, doable. Like I said, this is my first time healing it on a 24 and it was successful. So just try to put the strategies that I've given to good use, and I feel like you will be absolutely fine. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you.